Hi everyone, my name's Leanne and I'm joining you today from Adelaide Hills Council, and we're going to have a workforce conversation with Ryan Palmer from MAS. We are here as a result of the Hills Positive Ageing project and had lots of discussions about workforce and how to take on trainees and apprentices. So we're going to try and get all the information you could possibly need. My name is Leanne. I work in the local jobs program as a job coordinator, and part of my role is helping employers and individuals find their way to whatever support and programs they might need. I'll get Ryan to introduce himself and then we might hit some questions.
Beautiful. Thank you, Leanne. My name's Ryan with the team at MAS National here in South Australia. We are an Apprenticeship Connect provider. So we assist businesses with workforce development through the use of the apprenticeship and traineeship program. That includes helping understand what financial incentives are available, what the process looks like, as well as support for the duration of the training contract.
So you mentioned in your explanation the word apprenticeship. What is an apprenticeship?
An apprenticeship is a structured training plan that incorporates on-the-job training as well as vocational education to work towards a qualification outcome. So that will mean that the trainee or the apprentice will have an employment contract that will run alongside the training contract that is facilitated by us for the duration of that training.
And how is a traineeship different to an apprenticeship then?
Great question. Fundamentally, there are no differences between them. The guidelines that we operate under, they're the same thing. Traditionally, an apprenticeship, we usually refer to those longer 3 or 4 year trade qualifications, building a construction trade, chefing, that sort of thing. A traineeship is usually those shorter term qualifications, so usually 12 months to 2 years, and that can be in things such as business, HR, individual support for the aged care sector, or things like early learning as well.
So how old does someone need to be to do it? Like, could I do it at my age?
Absolutely. Anybody can do it. Anything before the age of 16, there are a few different contractual obligations we have to meet. But usually in any circumstance, it'll be 16 or above. That can be undertaken via a school-based apprenticeship if they're still engaged at school. It can be an existing worker. But yeah, there are no age limits, that's for sure.
There we go. So people have to go to training as part of this, because it's in the name traineeship. So where and when do they do their training?
Yeah, that will vary depending on the qualification that they're undertaking. A lot of the chosen RTOs, so the registered training organisation that you choose to deliver the training, will outline that. Some RTOs and some qualifications can be delivered exclusively online, so there's no need for a classroom. Other more hands-on qualifications will require some attendance in person, but the registered training organisation will outline that. There will also be usually an obligation for the employer to allow the trainee a little bit of study time while at work, and that will also tie into their on-site training as well.
So it's kind of like you're learning on the job as well as going to school to learn the other bits.
Absolutely, yeah. The main function of the learning will be on-site while they're employed and working in their employment place of employment. However, it is a combination of both, and that's the beautiful thing about an apprenticeship or a traineeship, is it really embodies what it means to be working in that industry at the same time.
Okay. And so I'm assuming as a trainee, you have a supervisor. So what is their role in this process?
Absolutely. Main function is to keep everybody safe. That's first and foremost what they're there for. It's to offer guidance. It's to make sure that guidelines are being adhered to, everybody is safe, and making sure that just really that sort of helping hand and that guiding hand to make sure that any questions that are answered, making sure that everyone feels supported along that journey as well.
Do the supervisors have to do any of the assessment part of that, or is that purely up to the training organisation?
The employer will sign off on some of the training. At the end of the duration of the apprenticeship or traineeship, the employer will sign off that they feel like they are competent. However, the units of the vocational side of it, the actual classroom training, will be done by the RTO. However, the supervisor will guide, and there will be components where the supervisor will have to say, yes, I deem that trainee is competent at that particular unit on site. That's exactly right.
And is that unit by unit, piece by piece, or is it at the end?
Usually. So they'll sign off right at the end and sign the completion paperwork. Each qualification is a little bit different. Yeah. However, there will be, most qualifications will require some acknowledgement of the supervisor.
Okay. And so ideally you have the same supervisor throughout your study so that you've got line of sight with all of that?
Yeah, definitely. Ideally, that in a best case scenario, we understand that businesses, that's not always viable. Some industries are more transient than others. However, for the most part, in an ideal world, they would have a consistent supervisor, but not absolutely necessary.
Okay. And you mentioned before about you can do it while you're at school. So how does that work? Because school, it's pretty much full on anyway and a full-time thing. So how does that happen?
Yeah, absolutely. School-based traineeships are something that we're seeing happen more and more, which is great. The school-based traineeship model is fantastic. We see completion rates actually elevate when it's done via the school-based apprenticeship model, which is great. we believe that's because the student still has the support networks of school and friends, which is good. It's not such a brutal step. One day you finish, Friday you walk out of school, you're finished, and then Monday you're working straight into full-time work. Can be a bit of a rude shock to the system. So school-based apprenticeships, we do see a higher completion rate. The idea behind that is you might be at school 1 or 2 days a week, and then another 2 or 3 days a week you would be out on the workplace beginning your apprenticeship while still engaging with school to still complete your SACE.
So in sectors like aged care, are there age limits then that somebody could not do that because they wouldn't be able to work in an aged care facility?
Yeah, aged care, it does get a little bit more difficult. That will vary on site to site. However, most of the time the insurances will still be fine. By the guidelines, there's nothing stopping a trainee from doing that. However, that may vary from site to site.
And we'll go into some specific stuff that employers need to think about and how we can consider that. But overall, how difficult is it for an employer to find a trainee, or for somebody who's not sure of what they want to do to find out about a traineeship?
Yeah, there's a host of different opportunities out there. Programs such as yours are a great way to engage with trainees and with businesses. I highly encourage employers all the time to engage with schools, to engage with local workforce programs and the like. There's a host of people out there that are looking for employment opportunities, and at the moment we are in a skill shortage, so there's a lot of need for that. So I'm always encouraging employers to be proactive in that space. But there are plenty of school leavers, plenty of people out there looking for jobs. You just got to know where to look, and that's something that myself or you can help with.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's a really interesting time in not just South Australia, but Australia broadly, because we have such huge growth in certain sectors. And we've got lots of people all looking for that same sort of candidate. So being able to be that employer of choice and give people opportunities and show that you can mentor people is such a useful thing that an employer can do.
Absolutely. It's something I talk about all the time in my role in the business development space, but having a consistent program where you're investing in your workforce and giving them development opportunities is fantastic for culture. It helps to bring recruitment costs down as you're investing in that person. However long the duration of that training contract is, that trainee is committed to staying with you for that time, which is fantastic. And showing that investment in them will encourage them to stay for the long term as well.
Absolutely. I think we'll leave the understanding the basics bit there, unless there's any other questions that you want to raise.
No, I think that's it.
Okay, thanks.